The Asian Avengers, so weak.
Asian Avengers, so weak, so fuckable, bro. You know? Whoa. There's 5 Asian guys together. Wow.
Together. Did you ever go through a stealing phase?
Do I think everyone should have a gun? Maybe.
Or you can look me up. I don't care. I'll fight you. I don't care.
You want to get high as fuck? You like opium?
And welcome back to another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, the podcast where 2 Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is Saturday, January 16th, coming at you live from Brooklyn, New York. If you're listening to this on your phones right now, please take a screenshot, post it on your stories, and tag us at Asian Not Asian Pod. That's how we get new fans. And if you're an iTunes listener, please, if you're an iTunes listener, please leave a review. 5-star review, I tell you. I don't want to see anything else, okay? That's disrespectful. And if you want to see more content from me and Mike, like AKA nudes, go to our Patreon.
Nudes.
Go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod for nudes and bonus episodes, but mainly for the nudes. And we got merch now, so if you want an Asian Not Asian hoodie, please go to AsianNotAsianPod.com/merch and get that hoodie. It's a good time.
Get that hoodie, baby. I'm
It's a
wearing
good
mine.
time.
You know?
How you been, man? You good? You good? Your background is of the Bay Area. What's happening? Do you miss?
Oh,
do you
yeah.
miss it?
No, I don't. Actually, I do miss it, and I'm actually looking forward to this apocalypse because I hear that everybody's moving out of the Bay Area, which is
Ooh.
awesome.
Wait, why?
Okay,
it's expensive.
Because now all the startup people are like, oh, I don't have to live in San Francisco, and I can live in.
Read about this. They're moving to like
Austin
Austin or whatever, right? They're moving to Texas.
Which,
they're moving to
rest in peace, Austin. But it's just it's. I miss the Bay. I miss the Bay, but mainly it's because I used to have that other background, the one with the computer on there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever left up a background from a comedy show or something, and then you jump onto a work meeting, and I was on there, and I just had to play it off. I was like, yeah, I'm really into computers.
and blue lights.
And blue lights. Asian guys love blue lights. I don't know if you know. That's a cultural thing. Don't make fun of my culture. No, but everything's chill, man. How about you, dude?
Yeah.
How's it going? You have like a kind of a... Speaking of Zoom craziness and Zoom shows.
Yes.
We had a really fun Zoom show, FYI. Just a little quick aside. Please check out Hack City, which is our Zoom show. We have them every other Friday, so happens all the time. Check out the Instagram, our Instagram for tickets to that. It's free. But Fumi, you had some weird shit happen.
I had some weird shit happen, and I'm gonna start
on one
here.
of your Zoom comedy shows. Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna start here. Okay. This is all... So I read this article recently on New York Times. It was titled "True Stories of Hooking Up During COVID-19." And I actually thought it was a pretty raunchy piece to put on New York Times because, bro, they were getting in some details. And I know that people are trying to stay in quarantine and trying to be safe like that. But my main takeaway is 2 things. One, apparently people are being more honest and transparent in hookup culture about and again, this is New York. I'm not talking about Arizona, okay? In Arizona, things are still the same, okay? They don't give a fuck. They don't believe in COVID, so this doesn't count. But people are being more transparent about sending each other pictures of their COVID negative results and stuff before they hook up. Even also STDs. A couple weeks ago we had on Hannah Dickinson. She got fucking herpes during quarantine. And I feel COVID has opened up the door for people to be Biggie Smalls always had that song. It's hey girl, what's your name? What's your sign? Now it's what's your name? What's your sign? Do you have herpes? Do you have COVID? And
right.
That's totally. I think it's really great that that's happening. But then where this article got naughty is they had this last paragraph. It was called there's always sexting and quote and parentheses other stuff, and it told a story about this guy who, because he was afraid of getting COVID and stuff. What he did is he went on a date with this girl into a park. And this is where it gets all Japanese porny, okay? It says one of the women, Cooper, of course his name is fucking Cooper. One of the women Cooper matched with on Tinder suggested meeting in a park and using a remote-controlled vibrator while they were seated several feet apart on a bench.
That's real?
Later,
I thought that was just some Japanese technology.
I thought that was some Japanese shit
too.
And this is later she drove him around while he masturbated. I guess in the passenger seat or something.
I'm not just so that he could jerk off. Did he have a thing about driving around and masturbating?
No.
He just happened to be driving around.
I think this is the thing. The quarantine is forcing people into these new fetishes and kinks because it's if you have to have sex but you can't touch each other, what are you gonna do? You're gonna refer to Japanese porn. Okay, they're advanced. They're advanced with this shit. And I read this, and it turned me on because I love shit like that. I love porn like that. You know, when you ever see porn like that, like a girl just like walk into the library. She doesn't walk like this, but she's got a vibrator, and then like another guy's controlling it. That's what this was.
I have seen that.
That is kinky as shit.
What I think is funny too is because I read that he drove him around while he masturbated, because I'm just like, this is still New York, so it's like, hey, you know what, you can jerk off, but I've got errands to run, so you go ahead and do that. I gotta stop by, I gotta pick up some laundry, I gotta stop by Zabar's. Okay, there's a sale downtown, so you go ahead and you have fun.
Yo, can you imagine she's like, hey, can you just hang out for a second? And she gets out of the car and she puts on the emergency light, and he's still jerking off, and then like a cop pulls her and be like, hey, you can't park here, sir. You can't park
sir,
here.
hey, take your filthy parking out of here, you
he's
bastard.
Like, not now. Okay, but I bring all this up because I had something weird. Not weird. I don't want to kink shame anybody. Okay, it's not weird. I had something happen to me.
I can say it's weird. I don't mind. Yeah, go ahead.
I had something happen to me that was parentheses and other stuff. Okay, so like, hey, everybody knows I'm in an open relationship. I'm out there doing digital stuff. You know, not really. I'm not really doing anything. But sometimes I have jokes about it. And so I was doing a Zoom comedy show. It wasn't Hack City, and I don't want to give the details of this person because I have no idea if this person's listening to this podcast. And if she is, hi, how are you? So like, it was like a random Zoom show I was doing, and I did a joke about being in an open relationship, and then I'm like, it's like a 10-15 minute set. So I'm like minute 3 at this point. I'm literally doing stand-up comedy. I'm in the zone. Right. In the Zoom chat, you know how you can like privately message people?
You can chat. Yep.
This girl privately messaged me while I'm doing comedy. Okay, and I'm kind of like, she starts off being like, hey, like what kind of like what does your shirt say or something? And I'm like I thought maybe I was like being heckled like in Zoom, you know? And I was what the hell is this bullshit? So I'm like writing back to her, and then it turns out that she's like trying to like sext with me via Zoom while I'm doing comedy. And like obviously like nothing happened because I was doing comedy, but like it was, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was kind of hot. It was kind of like, you know, the porn where like the female boss is on the phone and then like the guy's eating her out and she's like trying not to make a sound. Like she's still doing business. It was like that, but for Zoom comedy.
There's just so many there's just so many types of porn that you've seen, Fumi, that like and one day I'm just gonna be like, I have no idea what you're talking. For a long time, I had no idea about the stepsister stuck in the dryer thing. I kept seeing memes about it and stuff like that, and like you would do it or Peter Ravella would do it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because if you haven't seen it, it just sounds absolutely insane. Have you seen the thing where the girl's like stuck in the dryer?
I don't even believe you, because that's like homepage porn now. That's like everywhere. That's
no. Yeah, I got my deep links. Okay, I don't go to the homepage. What am I, basic? What am I, going to the front page of Reddit? Come on. Hold on here though. I have a question.
Yeah, I have an answer for you.
Did you not, like, you know, follow up with her, I guess? Like, just be, hey, why don't we do this later? Or is it just like right then and
I did say like, hey, I can't do this right now because I'm fucking performing. Like, right. I was like, maybe we could do this later. And she was like, haha, maybe. And then it just kind of fizzled out. And she also unfollowed me on Instagram. So
really,
that's how bad my internet dick is. It's
this isn't. So did you know this? I mean, know this person like from fandom? Or no.
I've never seen this person. Yeah. But no, you know what's kind of kinky is like, as we're chatting, like I can see her in the Zoom reacting to what I'm saying.
Whoa. Just like in the porn.
It's kind of hot. I'm not going to lie to you. It was hot, dude.
Whoa. Dang. Man. And all this time, I've been hating the interface for Zoom. Because,
I know. It really it made me want to invest in Zoom. I was like, okay, I see a new angle here.
Did
you know?
Yeah, I would be afraid. I mean, shit. You could have almost had one of those moments like that guy from the magazine, that famous writer.
Oh, from the New Yorker who got like, he was like masturbating or something.
Yeah, dude, this is what happened to him, man. He was just trying to do his thing, you know, and then somebody slipped into his little DMs, and he was just like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden, he forgot.
Is that what happened? I actually don't know.
I don't know what happened, but I could see where this could have easily happened. And you know how on Zoom, I fucking hate the Zoom chat because you can hit like this button and then like you're like talking to this person, whoever you want privately, but it's really easy to hit everyone.
I know.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah, no.
Just in 2 seconds.
Sometimes I notice that like it changes automatically for whatever reason.
Yes.
So like it's very, very possible that I'm just like I'm saying some naughty shit and it just goes to everybody enjoying the Zoom show. So for sure. That was, but you know what? I think that's part of the hotness is like, ooh, like I don't know what I'm gonna slip up, so I better be careful. And everybody knows, if you've seen my Excel sheets, you know I'm organized as fuck, so you know I'm not making mistakes like that. You know I'm buttoned up when it comes to that kind of shit. So anyways, I just wanted to share that, and I want to talk to our guest about it today because hey, she's a writer, and I've read her articles, and I know she's been out there dating in quarantine, okay, or maybe she's trying.
Hey.
I'm not really sure. We're gonna get into it, and I'm also gonna ask her if she's got into any Zoom funsy activities. Okay, so our guest today is a beauty writer. Okay, she contributes to many publications like GQ, Teen Vogue, Allure, and all kinds of stuff. And she's got this amazing podcast called Smell Ya Later, which is a podcast about scents and fragrances. So definitely check that out. So everybody, let's give it up for the amazing Sable Young.
Hey.
Woo! Hey.
Thanks
Sable.
for emphasizing the yang.
Yeah, did I pronounce it right?
No, because when you say and when I say it quickly, it's just like young, and then everyone misspells it Young, and then I'm like, no, that's not it.
Oh, it's sorry to make you not feel special, but that's like a comedy thing. When comedians bring up people, we emphasize the last name. It doesn't matter what it
really?
is. Yeah. So I didn't do that like for people or whatever you think it is that I did.
Just in general.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You're wearing a T-shirt that says "Revenge." I'm here for it. How do you feel about the New York Times article and this little like weird Zoom thing that I went through? Can you relate?
I didn't read the New York Times article. That's not true. I do read the New York. I get sent their newsletter every morning, and they're just like, "Here's how the world is ending today."
Oh yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
yep. I actually unsubscribed from that
I need
email.
to. I really
I
should.
was like, I do not need this energy
Dude.
first thing in the morning.
It's
dude.
crazy because it's like all this bad things, and at the end they end with a recipe. They're like,
know.
"Want to make a key lime pie?" like Trump has been impeached for the 17th time. Let's make a key lime pie. I'm like, fuck
It
you,
like
Michael Barbara.
stresses you out with all this news, and then it's like, here's a recipe, and here's a like little word puzzle.
Yes, exactly. Hey, you like
Yeah.
crosswords? And are you fucking serious? You
And
know?
then I get really mad that
Okay.
I can't figure out the word, and I'm like, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
First of all, okay, like nothing against the New York Times. Very grateful for their coverage, but I feel like every time they do cultural social coverage, it's like way off base, and it's always really out of touch.
Yeah.
And like specifically for beauty, anytime they report on beauty, it's like 2 years late.
Really?
I remember I was
Dang.
like quoted like one quote. I contributed one quote to an article about like people bleaching their hair platinum blonde is super popular now. This was like 2015, and that had been like a thing in beauty since like 2013. So I was like,
Whoa.
really, guys? Okay. I mean, like maybe things take time to filter into mainstream, but I was still like, why is this a story? So like, okay, I didn't read the article. So they were just saying like people are getting down on Zoom. Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, when
Yeah.
people are just like doing, people are like finding creative ways to in hookup
like,
culture and
duh.
whatnot.
Also, like, I feel like people, it's 2021. People were doing this in like March.
You're right. People have been
Yeah.
masturbating in the passenger seat
Yeah.
since like I saw that was like an
Yeah.
episode of Louis.
Hey,
I think.
oh,
I
yeah.
think I saw
Also,
that.
remember? No, wait, hey, Fumi. When did Japanese porn start having that remote vibrator thing? That shit's from the 90s,
Dude,
bro.
you are right. That is from the
Yeah.
90s. Oh my
So
god,
old.
That's
New York
old
Times.
news, man.
Yeah. The Times, like, I don't know. And I don't know how long their edit process takes. Maybe it just kept getting pushed back. Like, who knows? But like, I mean, that does happen
That
because
is
they're
so
like, this
funny.
isn't timely. Like, this isn't breaking news. So we'll just keep pushing this culture piece back. And then it's like 9 months later, they're like, we're masturbating. P.S. Everyone's dying and masturbating.
we had to pass this through all of our fact checkers and stuff like that. Are people masturbating?
Are people masturbating? We took a poll.
Are they?
It's on
Yeah.
the daily.
Well, I mean, like in March,
Yeah.
like I started writing like dating stuff for GQ like at the end of 2019, and they were keen to like have me on a regular basis. And then obviously when the pandemic hit, like you can't tell people like here's how to date. Like you can't tell people
Right,
that.
yeah.
So like there was like a pretty long pause when I just couldn't think of any relative pitches to go with like pandemic dating. Also because I was like, I don't think I should be telling people to go dating in pandemic.
Right.
So like, yeah, it's totally possible that the New York Times was like, hey, maybe we should not write about people masturbating amidst like mass death. Like maybe it's a sensitivity issue, and now they're like, release the masturbation article.
Yeah. I think now we're all back out there.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
People are out there.
Have you had any like weird, not weird, I don't want to say weird because I'm not kink shaming. Have you had any like interesting creative like, you know, dating experiences or hookup experiences, or has someone suggested something?
Not that weird. Like I did like a FaceTime. It wasn't supposed to be phone sex. It ended up turning into phone sex. It was just like a conversation that ended up getting sexy, and then
I like the way that you say it, because it's like when you say it started off as a conversation, so you're like having a check-in or something.
No, we were.
You know? You're just like, hey, how's your third quarter doing? Oh yeah. You know?
Oh shit, he's inside me. Fuck.
Oh crap. And why are you talking about quarters now morning? You know, like.
Well, I mean, it's like it was somebody I had matched with on a dating app, and then
Okay.
I generally like my thing with meeting people on dating apps in general, like even before the pandemic, was like, obviously, okay, everyone's gonna look a little bit different than what their photos look like. Obviously, like you don't know how old they are.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're giving you their best angles, ideally. But truly, for me, like the thing that throws me off is what someone's voice sounds like. Because like if your voice doesn't line up with in my head, like based on what you're writing me, if it sounds it just throws me off, man. So
Whoa.
I will always like,
Okay.
I love the excuse to be like, let's have a phone call before we meet up, so no one has to waste anyone's time, because I will vibe check the shit out of that. As soon as you open your
love
mouth,
that.
I'm like,
Have
it's a no,
you-
or
yeah.
it's a yes.
Why? Because because I'm trying to imagine somebody like, you know, texting you something real romantic or sexy or something like that, and then like you talk to them and it's like, hey, yeah, you like that?
That has
You know,
happened.
is that what's
That
happening?
has happened
Really?
like a couple times.
Hi there.
Where someone had like a really like weird,
I want you to hit me. Hit me hard, you know, like.
not even sexting, just like a normal like, you know,
Oh,
whatever
funny.
courtship conversation, and then I'm like, oh, it's not what I thought. It's not what I want to listen to.
Listeners, if you don't know who Sable is, she's got this amazing podcast called Smell You Later, and we've been doing some research on you, and one of the ways you start your podcast is you always ask how do you smell today?
Yeah.
Is how you
Your co-host.
usually
You got a co-host.
you got
Yes.
a co-host, and you ask each
Yeah.
other how you smell today, and we wanted to do a little bit of that on the Asian Not
Right.
Asian show, if that was
Yeah.
okay with
And
you.
usually, you know, and it always blows my mind. I've listened to several of your episodes, and you guys will have like some crazy fire, like, you know, scent, but then you guys get in such detail about it. It's like, oh, it smells like, you know, artificial strawberry, but then also like, you know, whatever, like a burning pine leaf, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Because for me, I only know, does it smell like Axe body spray or does it not smell like Axe body spray? And those are the only things for me.
That's
But you guys
that
get into
could be a
this whole
metaphor. That
thing.
could be a reference for sure.
But it's cool, and like I think it's a cool thing, and it's a cool thing you do. So we wanted to try doing that. I don't know who wants to start. Do you want to start, Fumi?
No,
wanna
I
start
don't.
with this?
I don't. I absolutely do not want to
Okay.
start. Why don't you
Okay.
go first, Mike?
Okay, I smell like, and I know this because I just put it on before I got on this Zoom thing. Speed Stick, okay? Mountain Fresh, I think that's what it's called. Speed Stick, or it's like something fresh. That's what I smell like. Plus whatever I usually smell like, which is pretty bad. I'm not a good smelling dude. I'm wearing, you know, this hoodie. I got no shirt on underneath because I was taking a nap before this, and I just threw this on. So I'm going to say I smell, you know, kind of like, what I would say is like a Mongolian eraser. How about that?
Wait,
I smell like an
eraser?
Very specific.
like eraser. A
Eraser,
like a pencil
Mongolian
eraser.
Yes, but you fell into a stream. I don't know. You know, that's what I think. I'm gonna stop there because I'm clearly an amateur at this.
Do you feel that you smell bad? Or are you just being
Yes.
funny? Because I don't.
No.
I have a very sensitive nose. I'm very cocky about it, and I don't think you've ever smelled bad. You always smell wet to me, but it doesn't smell bad. Like just like a
Wet.
like a puddle that I would just walk over on my commute to work is kind of your brand. For me.
like humid.
What a devastating insult. That's like the insult that like a musketeer would say to somebody they're getting into a duel with. You know, it's like, sir, you are a puddle of which I walk over on my way to the sunset. You know, like, ha! You wet puddle, you know? Death to you.
It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell bad.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to how I think I smell, but
Yeah.
Sable,
Sable, how do you
what
smell?
do you how do you what do you smell like today?
I this morning pretty much like doused myself in a fragrance I was sent yesterday by this brand called Ex Nihilo. And
Damn, flex.
The fragrance is called Honoré Delights. It's very
Whoa.
French. They're very
Whoa.
French. I mean, a lot of fragrance brands are French, but they said it's supposed to smell like a Parisian bakery, but it just it doesn't. Which is weird. I'm like, I've been to a Parisian bakery, my dude, and this does not smell like a croissant. I mean, it smells amazing. I wouldn't, but I wouldn't eat it. It just smells. Honestly, it just smells like a fancy French lady, which is great too.
Oh, okay. What is the name of it again?
Honoré Delights.
See, Honoré Delights is the name of the musketeer that just insulted me.
That kind of
Monsieur, my name is Honoré Delights. Ha, ha, you smell like a wet puddle.
Honoré Delights kind of sounds like a drag name or like a
Oh, it does.
It does. Yeah. I like the name.
Yeah,
I dig
yeah.
the name.
yeah.
That's
Also,
a sweet one.
I also like, I feel that those two words, Parisian bakery, that's like that's how you like really entice an Asian person because we love Parisian bakery. You know, like you
Paris
you go out
baguette,
there.
we love that.
Yeah, they'll
Yes,
be
I
like,
was just at Paris baguette. I
Korean
was just there the
people
other day.
Straight
Why
up,
do
they'll
they
just
love
name it. They'll just name it
Paris stuff?
Paris bakery, but it's like Korean.
Dude,
like,
I don't
they-
get it.
I don't know what it is,
Not
but
France,
like, I mean,
Paris. They specifically
yes.
love Paris.
Yeah.
And I don't get
Paris. Paris is
French stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Vietnamese people also.
it. Well, they were
love
colonized by
fucking-
the French, so.
We were colonized. Shouts. We love Parisian shit. We love carbs.
Yep.
Carbs. We love. I think we mentioned this in another episode somewhere, but we're just enamored with cheese. You know, like, hey, how did you do that? We can't even process that. So like, that's pretty cool. You know, so I do like that. I will also say before we move on to Fumi that I usually like how I smell because we have Hawthorne. Hey, this whole thing was an ad this whole time. Hawthorne.co.
Check it out. Link in bio.
I love Hawthorne.
Link in bio.
We interviewed
I actually
them on
do
the
like it too.
podcast. They're such sweet dudes.
Really?
Yeah.
They're actual people? I thought it was just an algorithm.
It's two Asian dudes. They're really nice.
They're Asian?
Yeah.
We knew that. We had. Oh wait,
Yes.
you were on the call. We had a kickoff call with
Oh.
them. Yeah, that's why they chose us to be sponsors, Mike.
Yeah. I had no idea. I literally thought it was like, you know, probably some guy named Bradley and, you know.
Yeah.
And whatever, and an algorithm.
Brian Jong.
Okay.
Their names rhyme. I love that their names rhyme.
We are sponsored by them, but I legit do
Yeah.
really like their products.
They are good,
because
yeah.
and I'm very smelly. So, and then how about you, Fumi? How do you smell today?
You know, I have a very complicated relationship with this question because I feel that I don't have a smell, and I don't do deodorant, which I'll get into later, and I've never used cologne. I've never used cologne in my entire life.
Ever?
No. Sometimes people think I smell.
Do you not like
nice
cologne, or
because
you just haven't found what you like yet?
You know, I don't. Maybe I'll ask you guys this. I'll be honest. I don't know how you get into cologne. Like for example, I think you get into video games because your
Right.
older brother introduced it to you. I think you get into.
Yeah.
You know, reading because you read a cool book in school and you're like, I want to see more. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are a lot of ways to get into things in life.
Yep.
Cologne, like, who shows you? You know, like,
you
do you
gotta
just
smell a lot
That's
of
a great
stuff.
question.
you know,
You know?
but I also never, Maria is into that shit, and I actually don't like it when she has on perfume. I'm very sensitive. I don't know. I feel like it smells like skunk a lot of the times to me. You know?
might just
Oh,
have a
interesting.
really sensitive nose.
Yeah, but she always gets mad because she says, "Oh, my friends love the smell." I'm like, "Well, I fucking hate it, and I live with you. So why don't you, you know?" I feel like my response has more weight. But yeah, I don't think I smell. Let me check real quick.
Is she
I don't know.
like, is she like, close the relationship and then we can talk about scent?
Yeah.
Then I'll stop wearing
Yeah,
perfume.
this is not for you. This is for the other boys.
Hey.
Yeah, I
See,
don't.
well, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about that is because you know, I often because I don't wear deodorant, which I feel is, I thought that was a pretty common thing among Asian men, but as I meet friends in America, like I'm just like, oh, maybe this is just like my family kind of thing. But like,
That's fine.
I've never worn deodorant. My dad's never wore deodorant. I don't.
I think it is a pretty common thing. But not. I don't think it's like universal. Not even close.
I'll just say this: I've never seen because I lived in Japan for a little bit. I've never seen a deodorant commercial in Japan.
I think deodorant is a very American concept. Because
really?
like,
So
Americans
people-
are obsessed with everything smelling clean and fresh,
Word.
and like having this like sanitized scent. You know, like almost like it's not even like a lack of odor. It's like a specific sanitized odor that everybody wants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is there like some, do you, I know you're not like a smell scholar, but like, do you have any?
Well, just like,
Like-
culturally speaking, like our obsession with bathing, with showering, with like the amount of
Yes.
products we have in our bath, and like
Oh my God.
other countries, like even European countries and Asian countries, like we don't bathe as often. Also because you're not really supposed to. The microbiome on your
word?
skin like is a protective layer of bacteria. So like
Yes.
if you just keep throwing detergent at it, it kind of like, you know, washes away your protective layer, which,
Oh,
you know, in the past, like lots of countries, you know, who actually have like a longer past than what, since 1776, or was it 74?
Right.
When was America founded? I don't know. But
So,
like
yeah,
America's
76.
kind of a
So-
new country. So like we don't have like the cultural past of being like, P.S. like you want this little grime layer to protect you.
Yo, dang, hold on. Hey, you hear that, Gina? I don't have to shower all the time. Okay, cool. She was just here. So, word, dang.
Yeah.
I feel that. And I feel, you know, I mean, I can definitely understand because, you know, I mean, fucking Irish Spring commercials were on all the time and shit like that. I got introduced to cologne as an Asian person because in the 90s, the cologne to have as an Asian dude was CK1.
Ooh,
What is
That
that?
was like the one. That was it's a cologne. It's a scent.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like
Okay.
it's a bunch of things. It's like a soap and all that shit too. I don't even know if it's popular. Is this
It's
is this
popular,
still popular?
yeah. CK1's a classic.
Okay. Yes.
Does that stand for
Yes.
Calvin Klein or something?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it's a
like it
Calvin
was like
Klein
one of their earlier fragrances, and it was unisex. So like at the time, like that was very like innovative
Yes.
and like new. Yeah.
Yes. Because men and women, all the Asian G-sters and G-ster girls,
Yeah.
you know, before there was, you know, Asian boss ladies, there was like Asian, you know, heavy eyeliner ladies, and everybody wore CK1, and there was a whole meme. There was memes before memes about. Oh, it was really expensive, relatively speaking,
Yeah.
to a high schooler's income, which is zero.
Yeah.
And so one person would wear a lot of it, and everyone would just stand near that person.
In the cloud.
The cloud of CK1.
Let me give you a hug, buddy.
Let me get in that cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Let me rub on you. So that was the one I remember later on as I got a little bit more money. I'm talking about just like in college. I had my favorite one was Nautica. I don't know what there's a name for it.
It was like a green bottle, or was it a blue?
Yes.
It was like a dark
Yes,
green
it's a
bottle.
green bottle with a little sailboat
Yep.
on there. And let me tell you this. I like last month found that I still had a little bit left in the green bottle that I had. This is not from college. This is like a bottle I had from like my mid-20s. And I pulled it out and I was like, I wonder if this still smells good. Does not smell good. It has become some sort of weird thing, but I sprayed it on myself and I was like, let's see how this is. This is going to be tight, you know?
Did it like bring you back to that era when you wore it?
It did.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I put it on and I was like, you know, because it gets into your
Yeah.
fucking ratatouille mind. And it kind of brought me back, and I kind of want to go and get CK1 and all that stuff. The other fragrance I like, I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the Comme des Garçons ones.
Oh, their
You know,
scents
is-
are so good.
There's like 4 or 5 of
Yeah.
them that I really enjoy, and like it smells like it in the store. So when you go
Yep.
in there, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Dude,
what's
I
up.
didn't. The day I'm okay. So, Sable, if you don't know, I'm very not cool and I don't know what is happening all the time.
I never know. I'm very late to everything.
I didn't even know cologne. I didn't even know like cologne and perfumes and shit like was that popular until one of my a rap artist I was really into in like 2015 released a song
Eminem.
called Lotus Flower Bomb, and I was like, what is Lotus Flower Bomb? It sounds tight. Like that's like a cool like name. And then I googled it. It's like a perfume or something like that, right? It's like a cologne, I believe. It's like a Tom Ford scent. Lotus Flower Bomb.
There's Flower Bomb. I don't know about. I haven't heard of Lotus Flower Bomb.
You know what?
but
I might
Flower
be
Bomb's
adding
a-
Lotus on because I just played Street Fighter or
Fair
something. I think the song is just Flower Bomb.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think that's what-
There's
yeah.
Victor and Rolf perfume that's pretty popular called Flower Bomb.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't even fucking know. But you know, I think this is me not being into scents or like perfume or colognes and stuff, I think it has a direct correlation to me not getting a lot of attention from women when I was younger, because I was hanging out with my friend the other day because I don't smell like anything, and I don't know, you know,
You really don't.
I would love to hear your take on this.
Everyone
but
has
like,
a scent, whether you like wear shit or not.
for sure.
Like, you have a
I
scent.
have like a natural
Yeah.
human scent, but I think it's like weak. My brand is weak, you see, and
Yeah, my brand is very wet.
yeah. If Mike is a puddle on the street,
I am a
in
puddle
New
on
York
the ground.
Street, I'm like
You're just humidity.
I'm like that. You know, sometimes you're in the office and like you're in a conference room and the door to the conference room is slightly ajar and there's like a little bit of AC coming through. That's me.
Oh shit!
It doesn't. It's just like, what is that? Whatever.
nuance.
You know.
It's nuance.
You're a slightly open conference room. You know, you're
May
you're
I
the
approach
sound
or
of the
may I
Yeah.
dial-in. Yeah.
But the Sable, is that true? Like, because I was with my friend the other day and she just, you know, came out of a long relationship and she was like practicing celibacy for a little bit. And because she was doing that, she said a man walked past her on the street and she smelled his cologne just by accident and she got really turned on. And I was like, oh, is that like
That's a thing.
You know, is that a thing?
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
Can you talk more about that?
You
Because I
can
need to know more about
absolutely
this.
be attracted to somebody's scent. I mean, like biologically speaking, the scent is how you find a mate. Like for the purpose of like reproduction, like absolutely. And in a weird way, you're not like yes, you are seeking out smells that you like and enjoy and think are attractive, but like on a biological level, you're actually smelling people whose genes are different than yours.
Word.
Whoa.
And this is mostly for women because women, you know, kind of bear the entire brunt of like reproducing. Like men just
Shout
like
out.
Yeah,
nut
shouts.
and then they're like bye.
We're chilling.
We nut and we say bye.
I mean, yeah, from a reproductionary angle, it's just like men
100%.
they're just like nut and then they're like okay, next one. And like women have to dedicate like pretty much 2 years.
That's how
Yeah.
Sable sees guys. Nut.
Well, like on your episode where you're talking about how a guy, like you can't trust a guy until after he nuts.
Yeah.
I was like,
100%.
you know what? I see that.
Cannot. That's all we do.
Yeah.
We're just drones.
You nut, and then that's when you have to ask the hard questions. You're like, listen,
Exactly.
I need some clarity on an issue. Yeah.
Who
what
are
are
we?
we now that you've nutted?
Yeah. He's weak. He's weak. Get him now. He's got
What
the kryptonite.
is your social security number?
You know, you have a very good sense of smell, and actually in your last, I think it was in your last episode, you were talking about how, you know, there was something out, and they do this, they used to do this a lot more. I feel that they kind of stopped, but they do a thing about how, what's the smelliest block in New York City? Right? Like, what's a very smelly block? And I mean, all blocks are smelly in New York. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's well, you don't move here because it smells like a Best Buy, you know. So it
Best Buy.
you want it to be.
Smells
No,
like
no,
What happened to you? What happened to you at a Best Buy?
it's a very mild smell.
Yeah.
Okay, like a conference room. So it's very and you guys were talking about it, and I remember a while ago, this is a couple of years ago, that they said this one block in Chinatown smelled, and then like people kind of got up in arms about it a little bit because
It's a
they were like,
little
oh, why do you
racial.
gotta?
It's a little.
It is. You got to come
Yeah.
at the Chinese and Asian people. Hey, and I'm not saying it smells wonderful in every block of Chinatown or in K-Town or whatever, but I mean, shit, like there's an open sewer outside of my apartment, okay, and I promise you, it does not smell like whatever flower bomb, okay. It is not. It is another kind of bomb, okay, ass bomb. That's what it smells like. So I don't know, you know, like. We wanted to talk a little bit about what are some Asian-y smells. Are there smells that you think of as being like, this is very Asian? Like Fumi, you were talking about how there's a certain dish you eat that you can only eat when Maria's not around.
Yes. Well, I eat natto, which is fermented soybeans, which Mike hates. He said that on camera.
Yes. Yeah. Colonialism.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, Sable.
I am,
It's-
yes.
it's
I like
very,
it.
very stinky, but I like it. I
like
grew
it.
to like
It's just
it.
like you have it with a little bit of rice. You can't just like
Oh yeah.
shovel that thing in like pure. You gotta
For
cut
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's a little intense. But like
Yeah.
I also before I didn't like it till like middle school, but even before then, like I never minded the smell. But this smell apparently is like repulsive to my girlfriend who is not Asian. And so I eat it typically when she's shopping or like grocery shopping or something. And then when she comes back, she goes, it's kind of like,
She can
you know,
smell
when like
the aftermath.
yeah, she like, she talks about it like as if I cheated on her. It's like, it's like, I smell that on you. It's like,
Was Nato here?
you were
know
doing
what,
it again,
though?
weren't
Like,
you?
Part of me, a big part of me is just like, look, if you're going to date someone who's of a different race with a strong sense of culture and cuisine in that culture, you gotta fucking suck it up. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
I don't really eat a lot of. I do feel that a lot of Japanese food is pretty neutral smelling. I feel, except natto. Natto is probably one of the only things that's like I could see why somebody wouldn't be, wouldn't like that. But yeah, I mean, what are some smells for you that like when you smell something you associate it with like, your family or smells that you find are homey to you, but maybe your other friends are like, I'm not into that.
I mean, Korean food. I'm half Korean, and Korean food to me is always just like so comforting. The smell of it, and like even then, like people would say like it's not a quote unquote good smell, but to me it just smells like home and it smells like family. Also mothballs, I guess, because my grandma's house always smells.
Oh yes,
a mothball.
Yeah.
Yes, I am
know
the
what that
same.
is.
Yeah.
Yes,
She had like
mothballs.
She has like a bajillion fur coats. She's a very glamorous
Yeah,
woman, my
yeah.
grandmother.
I remember
Yeah.
I would go to like different Vietnamese, family gathering house parties, and usually it's at like the older person's house, right? And they got a bunch of grandparents and shit in there, and it always smells like mothballs. And now I always think when I go to, let's say I go to like a vintage, clothing store, and it smells like, man, I'm like, oh shit,
Smells
where's
like grandma's
where's
house.
Ong and Ba at? Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go and eat rice now because it's just what it smells like. To me.
And then like on
that-
the other side, like my paternal side is Chinese, and like the smell of Chinese food is like also super comforting, but I mean obviously it's different than Korean cuisine, but I feel like the smell of Chinese food is so much more like sensorial, like it gets in your hair and it like stays on your skin, like in a nice way to me, because I'm like, I just had a delicious meal and now I can smell it hours later.
The mothball thing reminded me of do you guys know what tatami is?
The
mats?
Like
The mat, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's like so I like grew up in Japan. Most Japanese homes have tatamis, and it smells like this bamboo thing. And I never smell it in America because like nobody. The only people who have that in America are like white dudes with ponytails and katanas. I'm not going there. It's weird. Like no, those are the only people who have it in America. So I never
Damn it,
smell
Kyle.
it. But like the very few times I get to smell that, like it smells so good to me. It's not a delicious smell, but like the mothball, it just brings back so many memories instantly.
Japan has such great like home smells. Like
You think so? Like-
Japanese incense is my favorite, my absolute.
But see,
favorite.
when I smell incense, I think of funerals and
right.
I think of
because they just like pump that
altar.
shit throughout the air. Like they
Yeah.
like a lot at funerals. I get
They're super
I
into
get
it.
but like when I go to
he fucking died.
yeah, they're like we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
light it because it's more respect. The more things are on fire.
Yeah.
Like even like going to like the mochi store and they have like all the little baby.
Oh,
incense.
yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, Muji
That
store
shit is good.
is
Yeah.
lit. It doesn't smell like a funeral, but it's lit. It's inspired by the funeral. You know what I'm saying?
Inspired by the
It's like-
funeral.
so I walk in and it's got funeral vibes for sure.
Somebody, the guy who started Muji is just like, oh man, I miss my grandma so much. But you know what? I got a good idea for a store. Like, hold on a second. What if everything didn't have any logos on it and smelled like a funeral?
Love it.
Did you know that almost 40% of the United States is people of color, but medical research is 80 to 90% white?
That's crazy. Are you telling me that every time I read side effects on a bottle of pills or something like that, that is based on research only for white people, and they're not really thinking about my petite Japanese body?
That's right. They're not thinking about your tiny, tiny Japanese body, okay? This
Hey.
has serious consequences. In drug trials conducted primarily in the United States, Asians account for less than 2% of participants, but account for 6% of the U.S. population.
Listen, I'm not a scientist, but I know white people and Asian people, we have different bodies. For example, we got different earwax, and I know that makes a difference in my medication.
The All of Us research program is the largest and most diverse health resource ever and is representing all of those groups who have been left out of research in the past. People of color, seniors, rural areas, low income, LGBTQ, etc. It's up to you how much and what you want to share, and all of the info is secure and your identifiable info is removed, so it's anonymous.
And why should you trust them? It's managed by the National Institute of Health, NIH, one of the world's foremost medical research centers.
Why should you sign up? Well, for the greater good, to represent unrepresented groups, contribute to health research that could help the community, your family, maybe even you.
And you also get a $25 gift card.
And they're providing 10,000 free Fitbits starting early next year to bring people into research to help close gaps in representation. You can sign up and do everything safely from the comfort of your own home. Participation is power. Join to make a difference at joinallofus.org/Asian Not Asian. And we're back with everybody's favorite segment. It is Das Race News. And we're with our guest, Sable Young. And we want to talk about, it's been happening for the last couple of weeks, but we want to finally talk about the Soho Karen, infamous Soho Karen. Her name is Mia Ponsetto. And as of right now, I think she has done this terrible thing. No, I think she's out now. I think she's actually out on bail.
Okay.
So for people who don't know, this lady, she like lost her cell phone, and she follows this black teenager into this New York hotel, and like berates him. And fortunately, the son's dad is there, and he's like filming it on camera and everything. And he's like, "I don't got your damn phone," blah blah blah. And she has no reason to believe this teenager has her phone, but she's like berating this kid. And she eventually like tackles him, and there's all this crazy shit. They track her down and everything, and of course she's from California, which is fantastic. And of course. And it's just so on brand.
Such a West Coast move.
Right, exactly. Well, I would definitely want to talk about this whole thing with that, just to kind of close it off. Now, so she's been arraigned, and I think now she's out on bail or whatever the fuck it is. She is tailor-made, I think, for social media. She is she is a train wreck, and you can't. She had this whole thing on CBS News where she was talking to Gayle King, and she shushes Gayle King on the interview,
like 3 seconds in. This is not even at the end. Like it's the first question. She goes, "Gayle, that's enough." Like she did this like a bunch of times,
Right. Exactly, and it's to the point where like the lawyer has to kind of calm her down, which is just the best thing.
I love the lawyer's facial expressions throughout that entire interview.
Yes, dude, God bless that attorney, bro. That's the most
right.
I hope she charges. She just keeps upcharging
so much money.
Who would do that pro bono? By the way, that should be a hate crime. But she would. Yeah,
no.
I don't know, but I think so. Mia is this girl's name, and she was wearing a hat that's a daddy on it, and her lawyer apparently begged her not to wear it on this fucking interview.
Can you imagine going to law school? Just like I'm studying for law to 4 years undergrad, 3 years law degree, pass the bar.
Yeah, in California,
please, yes, which is a very difficult bar to pass. Please don't wear this daddy hat, okay? When do they cover that?
Yeah.
Which tort is that referred to, Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you think about that initially, Sable?
It was watching a train wreck. But also it's like, it's entertaining because it's so just like bizarre and flabbergasting, and like we're like, I can't believe this person exists, but also it's just like, this person exists in like many ways. Like this person's all over the place. They just have like not even the audacity. They're just like, I feel like in a way it's like our social media generation, because she's like 22. She's very young.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say it like breeds this type of personality type, but it really kind of does.
Oh, shots fired! Damn.
Well, it's like this hardcore focus and encouragement and celebration of individualism, and like especially like the kind of like brand of white feminism that's just like, I can speak up for myself, and like I have to be empowered at all times, and I'm like, this isn't what empowerment means, girl, but like you took that really
Well, I want to talk about go ahead, Fumi.
Well, you mentioned that white feminism, but she actually isn't.
I know.
100% white,
but
right?
that doesn't mean you can't buy into white feminism.
That's
for sure. Very great point.
What's really interesting is like,
shouts to Gwyneth Paltrow.
This is maybe looking into shouts to Gwyneth Paltrow. This is maybe looking a little bit too into it, but what's interesting is like her mix is Puerto Rican and Vietnamese, and it's funny because I feel like those are the
like she said.
Well, but they're not. Dude, I swear to fucking God, the media either hates or just doesn't see the value in mentioning that anybody's Asian. I noticed it with this. I noticed it with the fucking Tiger Woods documentary. Like, yeah, she's part Vietnamese, and they don't ever talk about it.
Here's the thing, actually, is that I was looking into it, and by looking into it, I just went to the next page on Google.
Yes.
And she
Page
is
2? That's deep, bro.
Page 2. That's deep, right? That was some deep shit. That shit got crazy. She says she's Puerto Rican, and then I did see a report where she says that she's Vietnamese, and I couldn't find anything else about it. And honestly, I was a little disappointed that she doesn't that they don't mention it, that she's Vietnamese more, because I'm like, yo, Vietnamese people, this is a very Vietnamese move, you know? Like, this is, you know, for sure. You want to talk about racists? Hey, we got you. All right, we love white feminism. All right, that's what we're all about.
I think it's easier to villainize these like Karen types if they're more white.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. It
Interesting.
doesn't make sense. Once again,
to like get like really like macro into her race is just like befuddling their point of like where they want to put her as the villain in this.
Right.
And that's kind of her main platform, is that she's like, I cannot be racist because I am Puerto Rican. How do we feel about that?
Wild.
How do we feel about that?
Yeah. How do you feel? Yeah. What do you think, Sable?
I mean, first of all, obviously she's wrong. Like, literally everyone can be and kind of is a little bit racist, but like everyone has racial bias for sure. But the fact that she's like, I can't be racist because I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
Also, like, okay, I might be splitting hairs, and I'm not the expert on this by any means, but like, Puerto Rican isn't a race. Like,
right.
And I don't even. Is it considered Latino because it's not part of Latin America? Like, is that not quite right? I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, like, I'm not exactly sure
there. But
I think you're right as far as, you know, the race of someone or the skin color of someone.
Like, she's saying like, I'm not
to
white, therefore only white people can be racist. It's like kind of saying like only white people can be racist, which is not true.
Right.
I feel
the other layer to that is like, for sure anyone can be a racist, but also like, I think it's easier for someone who can pass as white to say stuff, you know what I mean? Because like, okay, whatever, say whatever the fuck you want, but like when you walk down the street, like, you know, are people following you at the Dwayne Reed because they think you're stealing makeup? Absolutely not, right? So like, I feel I see this a lot, like people who, I don't know, problematic people, but like they are people of color when it's convenient for them.
Yes.
You know, when it makes, you know, and they just switch back and forth.
Yep.
When they're in front of a police officer, she's calling him an idiot because she's a white woman. But when she's getting interviewed by Gayle King about her racism, she is Puerto Rican all of a sudden. Yeah. She has been through struggle, right? So like, it's kind of like, she kind of switches whenever she wants. And I think a lot of people don't fuck with that.
Yeah, I think
it's really
too,
obvious.
it's interesting because I totally see what you're saying, Sable, as far as like the media wants to portray her as like a Karen. She's like this white lady, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, when it kind of comes out that she's not white, you know, I think the media is sort of like, oh man, maybe we don't have a great story after all. But it's funny because people of color, that's us, we know, oh, she still can be racist. That's all good. You know, you keep running that Karen story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm surprised there hasn't been any, well, I'm sure there are Asian Karens out there. 100%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a few that's gone viral, I think.
Okay.
Wasn't there like an old lady in a parking lot who would accost Asian joggers in like Torrance, California?
Oh, yes, there is that. Like, but I'm saying that they're. Oh, was she half Asian too?
Or she just wasn't white. She was like, I think she was half Latina. But everyone was like, see, people who aren't white can also be racist.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm like, she also is a white passing Latina, so.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, I saw a video of like, this was a while back, but I saw like some young Asian mom who like wouldn't let a black guy into her building even though he lived there. Like, she just, you know, she wanted, I've seen stuff. And that's what I mean by pass as white, because I feel like Asian people, you know, we don't look white, but societally, sometimes we do pass as white, no one's ever going to follow me.
It's
the
model minority stereotype.
Exactly, right? And so like sometimes people who fail to recognize that, we buy into it. We buy into the message, and then again, to your point, it's like we feel empowered to be like, you're not gonna ruin my neighborhood with this skin color
so
or whatever.
Fucky because like Asian Americans.
I love that word, by the way.
I love that word. Yeah,
fucky.
Well, Asian Americans are the highest population of poverty in the U.S. Right?
Yo.
But then like everyone's like, oh, but you're doctors and lawyers and you go to Ivy League schools and you're taking all of our white students like affirmative action spots.
that this is a little bit of the Asian struggle, is that we have to. We're so dehumanized. We even have to remind people, hey, we can be racist. Okay.
Oh God.
You forgot that we're
so
also
dark.
racist.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry, baby.
Isn't it kind of messed up how like whenever in public you see like a conflict happening or like something's about to go down, everyone's first instinct is to fucking record it. And
Hell
there's
yeah,
something
dude.
so
But
dark
yeah.
and like Black Mirror about that to me, because like what if someone, you know, gets seriously injured or like killed and then you just like fucking recorded a snuff video and then you're like, let me put it on social media because the people need to see this. And I'm like,
I as someone who is hungry for content, I'm down with this. Okay, put it on there so we can talk about this on the
There's
podcast.
no such thing as bad press, babies. Asian, I'll commit some racism and be like, Asian, not Asian. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. Swipe up, bitches.
Swipe up, swipe up.
like I thought about it in the sense of like, okay, like what if I was, I don't know, like attacked on the street or like someone's tried to start shit on me or like called me a racial slur. Like I don't want someone recording that on video and then like being like portrayed as like this like victim of racial violence. I'm like, yes, it happened, but also I'm like, I don't want to fucking be reminded of that or having to like gone viral because of that.
I would love it if that happened to me. I mean, I bet you remember Nigel, he got like assaulted on the street.
Yeah.
Nigel Ang,
Uncle Roger.
He is probably the biggest damage wasn't that he got punched in the face. It was
Holy
that
shit.
he forgot to take his phone out. That's what he forgot to record it. I 100% guarantee you he wish he had recorded it.
Dude, one of our comedian friends, Dylan Adler, is a Japanese dude. He has this joke where he got called a racial slur and he tried to record it, but it was on selfie mode. So
Oh,
he was
yeah.
just recording himself.
That's so annoying. I would be so pissed. It'd be like having a great set in front
Yeah.
of all these people and you didn't get it.
You didn't get it, yeah. A great
Hey,
set. I love.
Right? That's what we call.
That's what we call
You get
a racist event. It's a great set. Yo, good
racist-
shit out there, bro. Good
my
shit,
God.
man.
Hey, good job getting punched in the face.
Yeah, is that new? The way you fell on the ground? Is that new? That's just good. And we're back with our newest segment. It is Mismanagement Consulting, a new segment where Mike and I solve our fans' problems using unofficial consulting methodologies because we are both corporate Asians. If you want
Corporate
to submit
Asians.
your problems to the show. And by the way, the problem can be anything. The problem can be like, hey, I got to fire somebody. How should I do it? Or it could be like, hey, I can't get hard. How should I get hard? It can be anything. It's whatever. The limit is the sky, or whatever the American phrase is. The sky is the limit, as they
The
say.
limit
There
is
you
the
go.
sky.
If you want to get in on this,
It's
please
Stop at the sky.
it's fucky. Please text or leave us a voicemail at 917-755-9596. That's 917-755-9596. We love voicemail, so please check it out. Today's question comes from, let's just call her Miss D, okay? This is our fan, Miss D. Here we go. Miss D says, hey, Fumi and Mike, I too have a dating problem. I'm mixed. I'm white, Jewish, and Chinese. And when I was growing up in China, Asian boys would see dating me as a status symbol. But when I moved here, white dudes definitely didn't see it like that. It was like fetishizing and shit. Then there's my mom shitting on me for dating dark-skinned guys. So in any case, it seems because I am multiracial and an Asian woman, everyone has an opinion on who I should date. What should I do? That's a deep one, Ms. D, and we'll be charging you for this question. This is a hard one, but
It's a tough one.
But Sable, what are your initial thoughts on this? Can you relate to
Honestly,
this?
I am not mixed race. I'm fully Asian. But people think,
Oh, but you got that Chinese and Korean.
yeah,
You know how it is.
Like
It's
what is it called?
complicated.
I don't know. Is that race?
I don't think it's just Asian because they're both Asian countries, right? So it's like
I don't know. I see. I grew up in Asia, so I see different from different people from
totally,
different countries of different
totally.
races.
Yeah.
But yes, I see in America
in
everybody's
like
Chinese,
the American
so I get
lens,
it, but,
I'm like, just Asian. We're all lumped together.
yeah.
as Asian.
Yeah.
And like I have a couple friends who like also are specifically half Asian, half white, and they date people of all races, but like they do experience that kind of like exoticism, basically, is what it is. And I mean, like everyone's parents are going to give them shit for who they date, regardless of what your race is. I think Asian parents especially kind of do that. I don't know because I'm not another race, so I don't know I don't have that parent to like have that experience from. But like,
Right.
like in her case, it's just like you kind of just have to like fuck all y'all opinions, date who you want to date. And if someone has like a shitty thing to say about the race of your partner, like that's because they're shitty and racist. And I realized I just called her mom shitty and racist there, and I'm sorry, but like.
No, go ahead, go for it.
But
That's actually our brand. Yep.
I mean, like I'm sorry, but like if you have kids and they end up dating someone who you don't like, sorry, you can't control. You fucking made a human who makes their own choices, so you just can't control that.
Right.
And like, I mean, I've dated a lot of white dudes, and I can.
Shouts.
It's extremely evident at this point to me when they have like a bit of an Asian fetish. Like I can tell immediately. I can sniff that shit out.
What have they done?
What's funny is I know 100% I know it's a thing. I'm almost but just because like we've kind of moved the needle in some way a little bit with like representation and stuff like that. So I sometimes am even surprised it still happens. Not that much, but a little bit, just because I'm like, really, you haven't seen. Hey, we're people now. I don't know if you heard the news.
Crazy Rich Asians. Since 2017, Asian people. If you had a store, Asians established 2017.
Established 2017. We're humans also. Yeah. That's crazy. How do you know? How do you know? I mean, when did they pull out the katana blade?
It's like, it's shit like that. It's like if I meet someone and fairly early on, they kind of slip into conversation, like little tidbits of like Asian culture that they know about. And it doesn't even have to be like usually because I'm Korean and Chinese, it'll be tailored to Korean and Chinese culture. But like they just like slip in like the names of dishes, or like I went to Korea once or something. Or like my friend.
Yeah. Did they say it in like a Chinese accent, like mapo tofu or whatever the fuck?
No. Well, sometimes yes, and it's so cringe.
Oh shit.
It's really cringe with the accent. Even though I'm like, I know technically this is the correct way to say it, but it's so cringe coming out of your mouth. Like please.
Yeah.
I remember one of our good friends, Young Mi Mayer, she owns a restaurant. And, she told me I thought she was joking because, Mike, I agree with you. I was like, do people, even when you were talking about being asked where you're from, I'm just like, do people really do that in 2020? Mm-hmm. But she was telling me, she's like, I cannot tell you how many white guys walk in and they go, ni hao, when they come into a Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
and I'm like, I mean, that
Chinese?
That sounds made up to me. But she's like, no, I'm being dead serious. And I'm like, I guess I'm too optimistic. The world is a dark place.
Cat callers will say that. Will tell me any Asian greeting on the street.
Yeah.
Like it's
They just hit you with all of them, all 5 of them. Yes.
If they say it in Korean, I'm actually a little bit impressed. I'm like, oh, you know that one, okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep one.
But still, like, fuck. I just had a thought that like, pew. The most like mind-boggling thing that ever happened. I still think about it time to this day because it's so fucking bizarre. When I was like 24 and I was like at a friend's apartment party, and these were like older friends. Like I was 24, they were like in their 30s, like late 30s, and an older dude, I don't know how old he was, but way older than me, old white dude, was just basically like, oh, so kimchi or dim sum? Literally, and my brain left my body.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yo, hot dog or Italian? Yeah, you know.
I love that.
I think my brain literally short circuited. I was like, I have no idea how to respond to this man.
How did you respond? What did you say?
Luckily, someone around me was also mortified and was like, you can't ask her that. I was like,
yeah.
But you know that guy, he thought he was being like clever.
He
thought he was being like cultural.
Yeah.
And
He really
know?
did. And that's the dude. And that, I swear to God, like that's the thing is, we saw it with the Mia, the way she talks about it. Like these white people committing these crazy things. They, in the bottom of their hearts, they think they're doing good. And that's the scary part, right? They pull out that katana and they're like, she's gonna
love this.
She's gonna get
have been
so
studying so much. This katana blade, I've been practicing with my sensei.
And what's crazy
for so
is that
long.
like in the entire world, there are definitely Asian women who would love that. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
who
absolutely.
would be so delighted by that.
That is true.
Tila Tequila, for sure. She's up there.
For sure. Yeah.
We denounce her. She's not one of us.
We denounce her.
I always have this conversation with my partner because she's not Asian. And I actually don't know how to feel about it. And maybe I'm taking the white man's side, which I always do. But forgive me here. Let me just go on a little tangent here. I was saying, like, if I broke up with her, I'm just like, oh, I don't know that she could date another Asian guy back to back because people might assume she might. You got to have a spacer. You got to have a spacer. Right? Is that a thing? And I'm like, I don't think she has an Asian thing. I can probably vouch for that, but like,
But
like,
people will think she does.
People
if
will think
she dates
that
another Asian person. Someone I was dating when we were dating said that like many times like people would find out that I was Asian. He was white, and they'd be like, "Oh, so you like Asians, huh?" And he's like, "She's literally the first Asian woman I've dated."
Yeah.
And they would, and especially other non-white women would just be like, "Look, if this is a thing you have, we can't be friends," or like something like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
like it's really aggressive."
I mean, that's what I was sort of, my comment from earlier about like, I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, I'll give a guy, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of, people used to get riled up with like the white, if you see a white guy and an Asian girl, and now I'm like, hey, it's 2021, baby.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I think
maybe
there's just
maybe
a lot of white dudes
just-
and a lot of Asian women.
I think there are a lot, and I think it is still
It's numbers.
but here it is. It sounds like it's still a thing because people will be rolling up with the knee house.
Yeah.
Here's my advice for Miss D, and I'm going to use a little bit of close reading. It's a skill I learned, a useless skill I learned in college. And we're going to look at the words that are used, okay?
Okay.
When I was growing up in China, Asian boys, okay? And then when I moved here, white dudes, and then blah, blah, blah. And then my Asian mom shitting me for dating dark-skinned guys.
Ooh.
What's the connection?
They're all guys.
Men are trash. Don't date men.
Don't date men. Don't date
Just
men.
be an amoeba. All right. Just don't even include
See what
us.
she says. See what mom
Just don't even engage in human interaction, especially with males, because we are just drones. You cannot trust us until after we nut. Okay, that's what we're all about. We're all just about nut and then leave.
That was our show, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Sable, thanks for coming on. This was such a delight. This was so much fun. Where can our fans find you and your work?
I guess Instagram. I'm Sabletooth Tigra on Instagram, and just Google my name. That's how you'll find me.
Hell
Just
yeah.
Google me.
And
See
you can
what
also
comes up.
and you
Do
can
it.
find us on all the social media platforms at Asian Pod. I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me on Instagram at nice pants, bro.
Please come to our Hack City Comedy Show. It's a stand-up comedy show on Zoom happening every other Friday. The next one will be the 22nd, but I don't know when this is coming out. I think it's coming out next week. So the one after that is February 5th, and the one after that is February 19th. Tickets are free. Just go to asian.asianpod.com for tickets. And again, if you want more bonus content, please go to Patreon. Go to patreon.com/asian.asianpod for bonus content. A lot of people have been donating, and we love it. We love money. I don't know if that's a secret of ours. We love money. So please give us your hard-earned. We know that you got a stimulus check, and we know that you're gonna get another one because Biden's gonna give us like $1,400 or some shit like that. So give us some of that. So we're looking forward to that paycheck. Mike, anything else?
Nope. Once again, thank you very much, Sable, and we'll see you next time.
Anals, bye.
Bye.